Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive into A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we were really looking at how our thoughts create our reality.
Yeah.
And, I think that's something that we can all kind of wrap our heads around, at least to a certain degree.
Right.
But today, Lesson 19 throws us a little bit of a curveball.
It does.
Suggesting that our thoughts are not as private as we might think. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a profound idea.
It is.
The title of Lesson 19, I Am Not Alone in Experiencing the Effects of My Thoughts,
Right.
really challenges that very idea.
Yeah.
That our thoughts are solely our own. And it suggests that they actually have a ripple effect impacting others in ways that we might not even realize.
Yeah, and I have to admit, when I read the title alone, I was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, is this suggesting that I am now responsible for everyone else's thoughts and feelings too?
Well, not quite.
Oh, yeah.
Think of it more as like a shared responsibility. A Course in Miracles, often emphasizes the interconnectedness of our minds.
Right.
And remember how we talked about how thinking and perceiving happen simultaneously?
Right.
Cause and effect are inseparable.
Yeah.
So our thoughts, even those seemingly, fleeting ones, contribute to kind of a universal pool of energy.
Right.
That influences the collective experience.
So, okay, let's say I'm driving and someone cuts me off.
Oh, yeah.
My initial thought might be anger or frustration.
Yeah.
Is A Course in Miracles suggesting that thought doesn't just stay with me.
Yeah.
That it goes out and affects that other driver too?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
That anger that you're feeling, it creates a ripple.
Wow.
It impacts your own state of mind.
Right.
And it can potentially influence even the driver who cut you off.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't mean that you are solely responsible for their actions.
Right.
But it does highlight this interconnected nature of our thoughts.
Okay.
And how they contribute to the overall atmosphere.
So it's like we're all kind of swimming in this soup together.
Exactly.
You're
Interesting.
right.
All of our thoughts contribute to the flavor of that soup.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so today's lesson also talks about practicing with indiscriminate subject selection.
Yes.
Now, what does that even mean?
That's a fascinating concept.
It is.
It means choosing subjects for your practice randomly without judgment or preference.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're out walking your dog
Right.
and you see someone else's dog misbehaving,
I've had that happen.
right, instead of judging the dog or the owner, you apply the lesson to that thought.
Oh, so even if it seems random, A Course in Miracles is suggesting that thought matters.
Precisely.
Wow.
It challenges our ego's need to control and categorize, reminding us to see all thoughts as equally worthy of examination.
Okay.
And that randomness, it emphasizes that miracles, which are these expressions of love and forgiveness, don't adhere to our limited perception of order.
Okay, so now let's get down to like the practical exercises for today.
Sure.
The lesson suggests closed-eye mind searching to identify the effects of our thoughts.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, find a quiet spot.
Okay.
Close your eyes. And bring to mind a recent thought.
Okay.
Maybe you were impatient waiting in line at the grocery store.
Been there.
Right.
Done that.
Explore that thought.
Okay.
Did it bring you peace or stress? How might it have impacted the people around you?
Right.
Did you project your impatience onto the cashier or other shoppers?
Interesting.
And, really sit with that.
Now, how often should we be doing this mind searching?
It says, as needed.
As needed.
And that's the beauty of A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
It encourages us to be intuitive with our practice. So if you find yourself, particularly reactive and you're noticing negative thought patterns that are recurring, that's a perfect time to do this exercise.
Right.
It's a tool to help us become more aware of our thoughts and their effects.
This is really challenging our conventional understanding of individual thought, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
And it's really kind of freeing in a way,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
It is.
This idea that we're not alone in experiencing the effects of our thoughts.
It's profound.
It's very profound.
Yeah.
And it offers a pathway to true inner peace.
Okay.
Because by recognizing this interconnectedness of our minds, we can begin to understand the power of forgiveness.
Right.
When we forgive ourselves and others for the thoughts that we hold.
Right.
We're not condoning actions.
Right.
We're choosing to see beyond the ego.
Yeah.
And recognize our shared humanity.
So as you go about your day today,
Yeah.
consider this. What if every thought you have is a message sent out into the world?
Wow.
How might that change the way you think and interact with others?
That's a great question.
It's in it.
Yeah.
Until tomorrow, keep practicing those miracles.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.
I woke up to a miracle today.